Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our earnings broadcast here at Bear Bull Traders. My name's Peter. Beside me is Mike. Wait, which way is Mike? No, Mike's the other way.
This way. There we go.
Over there. And or it depends on what screen you're looking at. Maybe Mike's down here. No, he's over there. And we are going to review, we're going to talk about a couple of different stocks today because we are in the thick of earnings season. And the big three, I think, that we are going to focus on today are Apple, Amazon, and Coin. And people are saying that there's an echo. I don't hear an echo, but...
I had one to begin with, but it's gone now.
Apparently there's an echo in the room.
I think that was my fault. Sorry,
address that.
Mute the room.
Sound guy?
We got it.
All right. What's on?
We got it. It was my fault. Didn't mute the room.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Brian. All right, guys. We got a whole team here to talk earnings and to get things going with you. As I was saying, we're going to focus on three, right? The three big earnings tonight are Apple, Amazon, and Coin, and probably in that order, but they're not the only ones. On the docket, we've got MicroStrategy, Reddit, Cloudflare, Riot, Roku, First Solar, Rocket. These are all companies we've looked at for day trading at one time or another, and then stuff that we don't look at, like Boot Barn. Come on, who doesn't want to see earnings from Boot Barn?
You don't want a pair of boots, Peter? Cowboy boots?
Well, I'm not saying that I don't. I just don't want their stock. Or, anyways, but there's tons of earnings. But we're going to focus on the big three. Let's start with Apple. Real quick, Apple is expected to deliver about $88.5 billion in revenue in this quarter, with earnings of about $1.42. Look, Apple has had its share of problems, hasn't it, right? The Apple was in the crosshairs for President Trump as he was doing tariffs earlier and concerned about the overseas manufacturing, as he was President Trump was putting a lot of pressure on Apple to move their production into the U.S. Apple's, resisted that and said they were going to move from China, but to India. So recent tariff is probably not great news for them, but that's not going to show in their earnings, but it's definitely going to show in the commentary and likely some of the Q&A they're going to have as part of their earnings call. We're going to have to see how management addresses that. And of course, there's a lot of curiosity about what they're doing over AI and how well they believe their AI strategy is going. The general view on the street is AI is probably not going as well as it should, or as well as Apple had hoped, but management probably won't admit that. We'll have to find out what they say when the earnings call happens. Amazon is a completely different story. Amazon has continued to see outstanding growth and earnings. They're expected to deliver $162 billion worth of revenue in this quarter. It blows my mind that Amazon has twice the revenue of Apple, but there you have it. Anyways, and earnings of $1.33 per share. So Amazon is, one of those stocks that probably one of the ones that I trade least out of the Magnificent Seven, just because it doesn't move all that well, but it does get lots of volume daily. And frankly, it is heading towards an interesting high area. So Mike can tell us more about that in a second. And last but not least of the trio that we're going to look at is, of course, Coin. And Coin has some interesting expectations. It has been showing a lot of growth in market promise as their strategy of sort of expanding their offerings and really adopting different integration paths into the trading of all the cryptocurrency has shown dividends. We know that crypto has been seeing a lot of adoption from companies. How many times in the morning, if you watch our pre-market show, have you heard me talk about the fact that company X, Y, or Z has adopted some sort of treasury strategy where they're bringing crypto on board as part of their growth strategy. And Coin has been building back-end services that'll help corporations, not only individuals. So they've really been capitalizing on that. The expectations for Coin are about $1.5 billion of revenue and $1.71 on earnings. Mike, maybe you can give us more details about where these stocks sit and what we can look for.
Yeah, so if you look at the chart that I pulled up on Apple, so if you're unfamiliar with kind of the charts lines that I have on there, give you a quick overview. The blue lines are what I calculate as the expected move up thinkorswim at the beginning of the day. And then the pink dotted dash lines, whatever, are the expected moves that I calculate at the beginning of the week. And I just kind of leave them there. I adjust the daily ones. But as you can see, Apple is trading in a range, right? Like it is range bound between support and resistance levels all the way back in May. And I think this is being driven by the fact that Apple initially had this Apple Intelligence that was going to be the next big thing. And recently they've kind of abandoned it. And they're looking at going to third party company to kind of provide that for their phones. And I think investors want to know, okay, so you put all this money into R&D into this Apple Intelligence, didn't work out for you. How are you going to recover with that, with this new company that you're going? I think a little one that's kind of little hidden issue that's out there too is they want to see the impact of tariffs, right? I know we're getting some big tariff deals recently, but Apple does produce a lot of these products in countries that they haven't necessarily completed the tariff deals with. So I think they want to see, are those going to impact it? What are the rising costs that are going to be there? As far as how Apple may perform today, right? If we can get above this 215.16 level, we might be able to get a breakout, right? And see if we can get that breach and maintain it up. But if Apple can't satisfy the investors with either their revenue or their earnings per share or even their guidance, we can definitely be seen going down to that lower end of the 200 and maybe even breaching that 200 on that range low today. The volume, as you can tell, is pretty normal. No spikes throughout the last quarter. And last earnings, ironically, they gapped down and sold off pretty hard as well because investors weren't too pleased with what they had. So the question is, does it change? As far as our community, Peter mentioned, we do trade the Apple a lot. It hasn't been as common lately because it's been range bound and not much momentum movement going in there. And as a full disclosure, I really hope we break the 215 mark because heck, I'm in this thing long term. So I want it to go up. I don't want to see it go down. So Jared, give me good news with the expected news.
I will try my best, but I think you covered kind of the limness of what Apple needs to do. So, starting with Apple's option market, Mike reiterated the expected move, which we have currently calculated at plus or minus 9.3. Apple, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. I might round that up to 10, but we'll just say between 9.5 and 9, all the way up to 10. Those are going to be pretty small margins of error when it comes to this type of price action. And if you're ever trying to do this on your own, you don't need a platform like Thinkorswim. You really just need an option chain, and you can get a rough calculation by pricing out what's known as an at the money straddle. And that's really where I kind of want to see where the pricing is because Apple right now isn't quite closed. We're trading at about 208.40 right now on Apple's session. So if we get Apple to close, let's say between 207.50 and 210, I really just want to know what the volatility of an at the money straddle looks like. And right now that's trading at about $9. So, depending on which of the straddles you choose and how you calculate them, you're going to be looking somewhere in this range to get a sense of the volatility. And more importantly, you're going to be looking to see where some of the larger positions are located. Apple does trade pretty heavy option volume and open interest, but we can clearly see that 200 has a lot of downside potential. There's a lot of volume coming in today. It has about 18,000 open interest. And it's also a technically relevant level. We know that some of the range support exists right around 200. To the upside, 220 kind of stands out. There's high volume, even at 215, but 215 and 220 kind of stand out to the call side. It does go as far as 230, but that would be a little bit outside of expected move. So if Apple were to maybe have another surprise double expected move like we saw last session, we might be able to see Apple up in the 230s, but it is a far shot and it's a little bit further than what the market is pricing. So when we look at a chart, Mike kind of had those same boundaries. Expected move low, I'm probably just going to place it right at 200. Expected move high, given that it's a plus or minus $9 to $10 expected move, unless Apple surges to 210 by the close, we'll just say about 218. And what's funny about markets is the previous earnings, we pretty much were trading in this candle range right before we saw the range start to get created, the larger trading range. And if we were to break out, it would be the first time Apple has cleared the, I'll say like the tariff drop area. So Apple's one of the few mega market cap names that hasn't cleared what occurred on April 2nd, which was that large drop off in the market across the board. So it'd be an interesting breakout and a gap fill. It'd be an interesting breakdown, but given what the expected move is saying, we're kind of caught in the middle. And unless we get a breach, I'm not really expecting too much further than these price levels that I have defined. So that's it.
Yeah, not very good news for my long-term position. Come on, Apple. Double move, double move. That's what we want. But I doubt that's going to happen today. So let's talk Amazon, right? Amazon, it's all about AI. I mean, any of these tech companies, it's all about AI, right? And with Amazon, it's also about its AWS growth and how they're incorporating AI into this. Like Meta and Microsoft, Amazon has been investing heavily in data centers to support this AI and cloud scalability that are out there as well. Amazon, right, is going to be impacted by the tariffs, or possibly investors are going to want to know how they're handling that. They get a lot of their products from countries, once again, that we have not had a trade deal with. So we could have some unexpected news on that front may come out of the guidance. But I think investors are going to sit back and wait and see for that. As far as the trend, although it isn't as pretty as Jared called yesterday, Microsoft's chart, Amazon has had a pretty good bullish chart. It's been holding the 20 moving average only one day since its last earnings. Did it close below the 20 moving average? So, I mean, we are pushing up on this. There was a little bit of consolidation at the beginning of this month. That we jokingly in the BBT chat room said that Bezos had to get rid of a lot of his shares to pay for his wedding and the buyout of Venice, but that could have been, could have not been. That's just conspiracy theory talk going on there. But I still think it's the reason that it held there for a while. Anyways, back to reality. So key levels that I'm looking at, we got the all-time high for Amazon at 242.52, and that's because of the split that it did a while ago. So yes, it has traded higher than that before, but with the new numbers, that is your all-time high. We got some resistance up here at 230. Not 230. I don't know why I put that number on there. But the support, I would say, is really your 9 EMA right now on the chart. Throughout the month of June, we really have not closed below that. We have pulled down to it and tested it several times, but that's kind of your support level that's in there. And you can see the lower end of the expected moves that I had calculated for today and for the week. So we'll see what Amazon does there. As far as trading wise, once again, I'm a long-term holder. I want this thing above all-time highs today. Let's go Amazon, produce positive guidance out there for me. But I also actively trade this stock, unlike Peter. I think you can get some good moves if you can identify some of the pockets of liquidity that has it. And I know a few traders in BBT also trade this stock. And I may be wrong. Brian is on here. He could mention this after Jared's done talking about. I do believe he took a swing trade at one point this month on Amazon. I think I read in his newsletter that he did that. So let's hear it, Jared. Am I going to make money this earnings, or am I going to be crying away?
Well, that's a hard thing to say right now. What's funny about moving price down is you could always buy more. It's just a cheaper company at that point. But anyway, so expected move for Amazon about 13.3. Kind of a weird number, so I'll probably just round up to about 13.5, maybe 14 total, just to get the numbers to kind of line up well on the chart. But looking at the option market today, we do see fairly balanced volume on both call and put side activity. 220 is fairly well active on the downside, and 240 is technically the highest volume that came in today, but it is starting to grow at 250. So depending on, if we're looking higher or lower, 250 would be a great upside target. If we're looking to the downside, 220 has I would say the lead on volume. And both of those are going to be within the boundary areas of the expected move, but 250 would be both a breakout of all-time high and potentially could lead to some further upside, kind of like what we saw with Meta last night. The expected move being what it is, about plus or minus 13.5. 235 looks to be our closing price. I mean, we have a couple minutes left, but we're hovering right around 235. So calculating the upper expected move, I would say 248.5. To the downside, it would probably be about 221.5. So that gives us a little bit of a range to work off of, even though it's quantitative. We'd be pushing Amazon back, I guess, a couple of tier legs or trend legs back, and it would be obviously a little step down. But if we were to break out, I'd start looking at the 250s, especially if we have the volume and energy that we saw last night. Anything in between, Amazon unfortunately doesn't have a ton of volatility going into earnings. Usually the earnings moves are anywhere between 3 and 7%. There's one notable one back in late last year, I think August, and that one did have significant downside, but the average volatility over the past 4 quarters has been somewhere around 5 to 6%. So that's what they're pricing. I would say that's kind of what to expect. And if we do get a technical breakout, we should see the volume to support it. Otherwise, we'll be unfortunately pulling back to 220s. So that's all I got. What about you, Brian? You taking a swing on Amazon these days?
Not in it right now. Where they're going into these earnings, I think people are generally bullish, expecting just basically they're expecting about a 77% are expecting a beat on earnings and top and bottom line, but that doesn't necessarily going to be translating into a gain after hours either, because just don't know how much of this is already priced in. So overall, the earnings estimates are higher. So we'll see how the market reacts to it, I guess, is the bottom line, because we saw what happened to Microsoft, big gap up and pretty significant sell off after that gap up. So maybe sort of buy the rumor, sell the news on some of these high flyers.
Perfect.
Yeah, definitely. So moving on to coin. So, man, what can we say about coin? It's pulled recently back off of its all-time highs, and you'll see this black line I got on the chart here at 429.54. That's actually the high of the first day coin traded on the market, so it's IPO date, and you can see that that is also providing some resistance for the stock as it has pulled off. Some major news that we got on coin, right? Min out on YouTube mentioned it a little bit. They did enter into a partnership with JP Morgan and Chase, which enables Chase card holders to purchase crypto through their cards and link their accounts later for some reward redemption. So they're already trying to get into the reward redemption thing, as well as favorable crypto legislation has been passed all over the place for them, whether it's in Congress, whether it's executive order, whether it's the SEC putting out guidance. It's all been favorable for coin and the crypto industry. Coin is now also a part of the S&P 500. It's been the first cryptocurrency company to actually become a part of that. So we're there. But I think what investors are a little bit worried about is what is this doing on your profit margins, right? How are you going to have this reoccurring revenue from the subscription? So I think that's what they're worried about. As far as coin and the chart goes, we talked about the all-time high. The resistance level is going to be that IPO offering candle, the high of it. Support, I'm looking kind of down in the 365, 375 range, right about where we're at. So it's going to be interesting to see what coin does once earnings come out. The last earnings wasn't all that exciting for coin. We thought it might be, but it wasn't all that exciting when there. So it could be a dud today, but it could be. As far as trading goes, if you are in our chat room, you can probably guess the moderator that's been trading it almost daily, and that's Gary L. He had a plan, and he has been executing that plan day in and day out and making some money off of it. So it is also intraday stock that we do trade a lot. I trade it when it does my setup, and I know John likes this coin as well. So he's a big fan of John, and I see Peter throwing hands up. He must be having fun or something going on at the 1 to 10. He must be shorting something out there.
I'm shorting NVIDIA 1 to
Probably
10
shorting
trade
the
here
market.
for the
yeah, there we go.
NVIDIA.
So
Yeah.
I will turn this over to
I'm
you,
guessing
Jared.
he's shorting. If he's happy, he's probably shorting the market because I just took a long on some puts on SPX, and man, did they've gone through the roof. So we're
There you
getting
go,
a big
Brian. You and I
sell-off
both
into the
in active
flows here.
Getting a
trades.
big sell-off. Look at
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
today's a noteworthy day on the trend count. So we have a giant red candle at the top of the range. So we'll see how that progresses. But I love what Mike called out on the technicals, by the way. Not only is this the all-time high for coin, having been tested probably about a week and a half ago, but where coin sits at this exact moment is the IPO open price. So it's actually the first price ever offered to the open market. It's the beginning of coin's session ever. And we're trading right at it, you know. So it's a really interesting spot from a technical point of view because it's almost saying coin has recovered the price that was offered at the beginning of its IPO. And I mean, obviously break even if you bought it there, but not necessarily the greatest, I would say, net investment. Did have quite a bit of a drawdown at the beginning. Um, Expect to move really quickly, pretty straightforward. It's plus or minus 25. For a stock like Coin, that's a little low. I mean, we're talking about something that can move probably that amount in maybe a good day or two when things were really cooking. But it's a plus or minus $25 range. And given that the stock is trading at about 380 right now, that's going to be somewhere in the, I don't know, about 6% total, maybe a little bit higher, 7%. So it's not bad, but I would expect a little bit more out of the option pricing. I'm going to just treat it for what it is. It's plus or minus 25. And if we close at about 380, that puts the upper expected move at 405, the lower expected move at 355. And you'll notice that doesn't have a lot of like significant technical impact. It's very local in the price action. But I would expect a little bit more out of coin. So if we breach, I would definitely be looking for like 10%. And that should put us closer to, let's say, plus or minus $38, just to get us closer to like the all-time high, and maybe even closer to like 340, 335, depending on which way it goes. So I'm looking for coin to do more than what the option market expects. And that's about all I got.
All
Yeah,
right. Well, we got some.
I think you're
Go ahead,
right. I think
Brad.
coin will be interesting, and probably the one that's really going to give the outsize move. So keeping an eye on that one after hours.
Yeah, agreed on that. So, yeah, we got a couple of options here. Don't forget, guys, that those aren't the only earnings. If you want to follow others, by all means. In fact, in the comment here, if you're watching on YouTube, let us know what you're going to be watching after hours. Also, keep in mind the timing of these. When we look at the relative time, Amazon and MicroStrategy, yes, but not what we're talking about. Amazon is going at 4. Right at the dot of 4, we should see Amazon's numbers come out. Coin is not till 4:20, and Apple's not coming up till 4:30. So that'll be right at the end of our broadcast here today. So we'll have to see. Again, hopefully they come out to schedule. So they haven't always, but I was sort of wrong yesterday, and they're actually coming. Numbers are coming out early, so we'll see what happens. Usually, you get a little bit of movement even before the numbers come out because somebody knows before we do. But we'll let you know as soon as we see them.
Yes.
So, and we'll see
That's
what else. There's a few things like we mentioned that are moving in the meantime. We'll keep an eye on some of those if they get super interesting. So, Nvidia's coming back up here to my entry. So, getting
Peter
but
trading the 1 to 10.
1 to 10, 1 to 10 for the win. I love it. So, all right, 2 minutes till the market close.
All right, here we go. 2 minutes. We got the SPY. We got coin, right? Coin's the one that's going first. So.
No, Amazon.
No, Amazon. All right. Wanted to make sure I had Amazon up there. See what we can.
Yeah.
See if we can get anything.
I don't think Apple doesn't report till 4:30, eh?
That's correct.
Yeah.
So. We'll see what if Amazon reacts first. I see the volume ramping up as we're heading into the close here on Amazon, so we're starting to get a little bit more movement, and we'll see if that translates. After hours, of course, expect the volume will actually drop, but the movement should expand. That's usually what happens. So know that it's going to whipsaw on a bigger range here, and oh my. Things are speeding up here into the close today. Fascinating. Okay. Love it. Spread is only 1 to 2 cents right now, but after the close, that's also going to change
That
drastically.
always goes up.
Yeah, quite significantly. So be ready for it, everybody. Again, I would suggest, don't try and preempt this thing. You could be right and you'd love it, or you could be wrong and you will be very upset. So
Oh,
yeah. Let's
you will
wait
be
and
not
see.
you will not be happy.
You will be not happy.
I'm trying to get the news. Why can't I get news here?
All right, there's the closing bell. So that means the market is now closed. Let the after hours craziness begin. So let's see what we get here
Eh?
on some of these offerings. Some of those that I was watching here.
All right. little pre-movement. Nothing. I haven't heard anything on Benzinga yet about Amazon.
No, a couple of the others that are supposed to come out right at 4. I haven't seen any movement on them yet.
Got a little bit of
Quiet.
seems
Little
like we
pop
got
on
a bit of
Amazon.
short covering into the close there. Nvidia popping back up now in the after hours.
Yeah. And it started that right before the close as it sort of moved back up off of that drop. So
Yeah,
big pop now on Amazon. Big move higher on Amazon. So, whoa, and it reversed it. And now we're
and a
going.
drop.
I love after hours trading. Oh my God, this is always so crazy.
Crazy.
Let's let's ride the range, right, Jared?
Yeah, I mean, we're getting good reaction,
Oh
but
my goodness. And we're up again. It's like a rodeo bull.
Amazon had a big beat on revenue.
Right, which was expected.
Yep.
Yeah. Advertising dollars are good for sure.
Profit margin 11.9%. That was one of the things investors were looking at.
Well, it's certainly not as clean to trade as some of what we were seeing yesterday with Microsoft. But
No, it seems
this
to
is
be kind of a muted response right now. Again, there's always a question of, yeah, they're probably going to beat, but how is the market going to react given the big run up that we've already seen?
mhm.
You know,
Things just
is this already priced
wow.
in?
seems like there's a lot of sell pressure trying to clear 230s here. A lot of people asking for higher, not getting filled, so now they're kind of coming to the price a bit.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Their
I mean,
cloud
Right.
sales
it is
revenue was beat as well. So
it, it is pretty pricey on a PE basis. I mean, you're pretty close to 40
Okay.
times. Um, so a lot of growth expectation is priced into that PE ratio. So he's
38
gone red
cent
on the day
beat
now.
on the earnings per share.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I like how the
Getting
price is
some other
being
interesting
supported here,
reactions.
though.
Tes- Tesla's selling
I
off.
I've I've gone long just a few shares here on Amazon at the previous day close around
Oh, nice.
230,
That was a
230,
that was
40 is
probably
where I got filled.
yeah that was a good place to take an entry if you're
Uh,
looking for a long.
yeah, this is scary though. I'm going to take some off right here. This is too scary.
You don't
Yeah,
like
Oh
that
God.
$1.32 spread you got going on, Peter?
Well, and it keeps jumping like the spread goes down to 10, 20 cents and then like you said up to a buck. It's this is terrifying.
Yeah.
No wonder I don't
that's
normally trade
terrifying.
after hours.
Yeah, very difficult to get filled on it.
Apparently, I don't
Takes
need to
takes
listen
a
to you
lot to
for a little bit.
terrify. Takes a lot to
Ah,
terrify Peter.
no way,
Yes,
man.
it does.
I scare easily. What are you talking about?
Not a big movement out of Amazon. I'm okay with that too. So we just want to
First
hang
Solar
out where we
seems to have
closed it.
First Solar's jumped up. Roku also I've seen a little movement after hours here. What else? Yeah.
It's been an interesting response to earnings. You look at Meta, Microsoft. Meta really didn't make any headway once it gapped up. Microsoft obviously sold off. Um, Roblox gapped up and sold off.
Yeah. I've
We
pe just
can
a
we can
finger on the
Peter
do
took
trigger
a
this.
here
took a
because,
nice
of course, stops don't work after hours. Waiting to see if this thing drops. like it's sort of doing now.
Peter,
I will abandon
Peter
ship
took a nice short on Microsoft at the open.
this morning. Yeah.
Yeah, look at that coin falling. I haven't heard anything on coin.
No volume on coin. Seems odd they're moving the price with no
Yeah,
volume.
look, wow, coin is dropping hard here.
Yeah. Thank you, Jackie, out on YouTube.
Coin. Yeah.
Saw you
Wow.
mention that.
Coin is dropping heavy.
Again, coin really highly priced, price to earnings
Okay, I'm out.
71.
Got
So
out the
it's
rest of Amazon.
an awful lot of a lot of optimism and earnings priced into that ratio.
Yeah.
That wasn't as fun as yesterday.
Mm.
Okay.
Tesla
Coin
continues to
approaching the
bleed as well.
coin approaching the lower expected move, about
Yeah, even
355.
before earning. Have you all heard anything on? I haven't heard anything on coin yet.
No, I haven't heard anything.
Yeah,
Feels like
I
they're
don't
just
see
moving
anything
it.
either. So preemptive. Ooh, preemptive.
Preemptive move.
Yeah. Somebody got the secret copy that nobody else did in the briefcase in the parking lot.
The the numbers came out on MicroStrategy, and I think somebody mistyped because they said that they beat on sales, delivering 114.5 million of revenue on 112 point, well, I'll call it 113 million estimate. But the earnings, they were supposed to lose 9 cents a share. And the headline here says that they made $32.52 a share. That would be
Wow.
unbelievably massive beat. I don't even know if that's possible, but I think that's a wrong headline. So,
Yes.
and they seem to actually
Somebody
put
put
it.
the decimal point in the wrong area,
Yeah, somebody
is what
definitely
occurred.
typed it. Oh, yeah, look at that. And they pulled the headline. So, okay.
Apple
So,
kind of popping up here a little bit.
yeah, Reddit's got
Reddit
some
is
numbers out.
getting a nice move after earnings. It beat on top line.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. They beat both top and bottom line on Reddit.
yeah.
There's Reddit for
So
everybody.
Reddit's getting a nice move up here on that news.
Coin is breaching expected move. We're about, I guess, $30 down at this point. Still not seeing a ton of volume, but it's moving consistently. So trying to see if this is
I don't see
trying
I
to
don't see
get
any moves
buyers
on.
or just do something else. Not sure.
20. Man, are they ramping it up?
Hmm.
Winding up that Hot Wheel, right? To let it fly.
Well, it's
Coin
it's
Certainly,
such a
if
massive.
you're gonna
It's
play
a
if you're gonna play any of these earnings, it's really best to do it with options and use spreads so that you either you limit your risk.
yeah. This is such a
So they
massive
did
price.
release. Benzinga just said it sounded like they beat on revenue.
Okay. Hmm.
But he didn't
Yeah, I'm
say
not
earnings
seeing
per
any moves
share.
out
And
on
there's
coin. Nothing.
I got nothing on coin where I'm looking at.
Nothing on the wires by all appearances.
Taking this.
514 earnings per share versus the dollar. So they beat, but we're selling off. You can never. Where's
Oh,
where's the fate? Where's Where's that false news?
It's such a big price to sell from too. I mean, if we're seeing the same sell pressure from the IPO open and the all-time high didn't clear completely, it's going to be difficult to find like new
Yeah.
supports for a while, but I am long a small position on coin. I did see some buying pressure at about 346.
Yeah. So Standby Modus over there on YouTube. So I'm looking for the actual numbers, but I can't see where they populated. Ben Zinga, that we have here in the chat room off of the Trading Terminal News, has reported that they beat on revenue and beat handily earnings per share. So I'm still looking for some news as to maybe letter, something they said to shareholders or something that's driving this down. Not sure. So, but they did report already.
It's really it's why I really have, if on a swing with swing trades, I really have trouble. I really don't like holding stocks through when I'm holding swing trades. I don't like holding them through these events, because even if you were an insider and you knew the numbers that were going to come out, coin beat top bottom line, you would have had a positive reaction, but this reaction after hours is sort of contrary to what you would have thought. So just a bit of a casino when it comes to playing earnings. And like I
I
said, the
told
best
you
way to
there
do that,
was.
if you're going to do it, is to play it with options and limit your risk.
I knew that didn't sound right. There's the actual numbers. So they did miss earnings per share. 12-cent earning per share versus the $1.35 estimate. Charlie
Okay.
failed us miserably with his $5.12. I'm like, what? So they missed earnings per share. Now that makes some sense going into it.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. 1.5 versus 1.6 expected on sales.
Yeah. So
Exited coin for now. There's still some bidding going on below 346.
Mhm.
Looks
it's
like
kind
a
of
crack.
died
So
down.
Yes, yeah, the volume's not picking up as you would hope on it.
Now,
even Amazon, I was thinking of shorting it through previous day close, but it kind of backed up to the mid price, and I was having trouble getting out of the position too. So unfortunately, as Peter mentioned, it's not only the movement we're seeing, it's actually just the fills. You know,
and the
those,
liquidity of.
yeah, exactly. Like we were getting filled on Microsoft and Meta pretty easily, I found, and this is a little bit more challenging. So I'm kind of waiting for things to get to a price and then trying to get in, before it goes away.
Right.
Okay, gentlemen, I am got a family thing going on here, so I'm going to drop off after this. But thanks for everybody on YouTube for joining, and we'll see you in the morning.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you,
Yep.
We'll
Brian.
keep going here.
And, yeah,
No problem,
okay.
Brian.
And don't forget, you can check out my book on Amazon. E-version should be a special running tomorrow through the weekend. So thanks, everyone. We'll talk to you
Sounds
all in
good,
the morning.
Brian.
Cheers.
Brian and I had the same idea.
Mhm.
How did it? So out there on YouTube, Brian has how to swing trade and how to trade options. Those are his two books. Yes. I think he's putting his option book up for opening. So how to trade options by Brian Pezum. As we sit here and wait for Apple to report. No, but I was
Yeah.
saying Brian and I both had the same idea. I was going to put my book for free this weekend, but then he mentioned it. I'm like, I'll wait till next weekend. You can only read one book at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. I struggle shifting stories, even if they're nonfiction or fiction.
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm
Well,
a
I
Go ahead. Sorry.
I just say I often read multiple books at a time, but probably not very well.
Mm.
So, so Coin reported early, so that we got them out. Amazon's out, and now, like you said, Apple at
Yeah.
4:30. We're also look. Don't forget, Riot is also at 4:30. Roku came out. Its volume is pretty low here, but they are marginally higher on their numbers. So,
Reddit as well.
yeah.
Roku. Yeah, down.
Reddit's
About
impressive.
100.
Reddit, that'll be a good stock to look at tomorrow at open. I like
Yeah,
the move
Reddit's
up
up
it's
well.
having. Yeah, I mean it had such a strong showing, maybe like I want to say about year and a half ago, really strong rally, came down, pretty much evaporated that whole move. And then if I'm remembering correctly, Reddit was added to one of the index products. Like it's I think it's either part of the Russell 2000 or something. So that inclusion kind of perked it back up, both with
Yes.
institutional buying and maybe a little bit of a breakout of the lower range. So if it
Yeah.
wants to
So
move
Russ.
back up, it's got, you know, 190 is a good resistance, and then 200 plus, we're getting it back into like all-time high territory. So kind of an interesting look.
Amazon
Yeah.
selling.
Right. It's
Yeah,
part of the
Starting to
added to
move
the Russell
down.
3000.
3,000. That's what I knew it wasn't the main one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
unfortunately, sorry, Mike. Couldn't get down
yeah.
there for you.
It's all right. I'm a long term. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm back in the 100s. So as long as we stay above 200, I'm cool. Well,
Let's hope
really,
it
if we
doesn't go
stay
that
above
far.
150, I'm all right.
I
So,
think it's showcasing this market is focused on certain stocks, and
yeah.
if you can't break all-time high, it really gets punished on the backside moves too. I mean, we're almost at expected move, 221.5, but as I was showing, there was some 220 put buying that kind of had more of the option market focus. So assuming we don't bottom soon, I would actually be looking to trade 220s by probably tomorrow. And missed the short on that one, but that one is at least moving, so it's good.
And so Coinbase, you'd have to kind of do your own if you're looking for a long-term investment in that. Sagan over there on YouTube, but they did not produce very well on their earnings report this go round. So they could be in for a little rough patch for a while.
Yeah. And that's a surprise miss for Coin. The expectations were pretty high, I think.
And they ran that stock got run up to
Hmm.
into that earnings. So there's probably some people trapped on it right now that we're not expecting what they got. So
I was looking at Coin's historical chart too, because when the IPO range was formed, 381 was the opening price, and that's basically where we just sold from. So imagine you're in the IPO candle.
yeah,
You sell from 380, and I think the bottom of that candle was 310. So, I mean, I don't know if it's going to drop that far, but as far as what range we're in, that IPO day, that's how big it was. And it's kind of why this moving down from that price is a little concerning, because we're going to lose a lot of altitude if it keeps going.
yeah.
But coin is pretty volatile, so 33% off
Always
the top
is.
is not uncalled for.
I think coin will be a good mover tomorrow, though. Could be a good intraday trader. There'll definitely
Absolutely.
be volatility tomorrow for it. So
Yeah. I want to hear what Gary has to say about it.
I
We
know
can
I
use
want to
his
see his
analysis.
analysis tomorrow.
Should be fun though. But yeah, I mean, when my quantitative levels break, I try and get a bit more on the technical side. I know that there's recent supports here, and that's why I'm kind of trusting maybe the new buyers to hold it up. But when I looked back in history, being up here is dangerous just because of the drawdown that we saw just on the day. I mean, it closed on that day at about 328. So if you think about like we're just kind of repeating the move today, and if it goes to 328, that's a lot of downside. That's a big move. So you have to be careful with like price location on this one.
Yep.
Yeah. Gary's like trade that direction. Simple as that. Um, James, no real good reason. They had great earnings, beat revenue, beat sales, all things there. I just think people probably had it uh, priced into the market already, and they were looking for a bigger move than what they actually got. So now they're gonna take some profit.
Yeah, I think it's just the level of expectations, right? It's
Yeah.
it's one of those where sometimes you're priced to perfection, as they like to say, meaning that the expectation was you were going to do awesome things. And if you did do the awesome things, then, consider yourself lucky that your price doesn't drop. And if you just do regular human things and not awesome stuff, then you drop. And I think that's what's happening to Amazon here. I mean,
Yeah.
this is not a huge drop. Little,
No.
I mean, obviously disappointing for some, but it's not huge. So we'll have to see what the rest of the after hours session brings and what it looks like tomorrow morning as we head into the open.
Yeah.
Interesting here on Apple's chart. It keeps going down to this
Yeah.
207, 207.60 level and then coming
207.60.
right
Yeah, it keeps
back.
reaching down there.
So look at that, 4 candles. So this could be interesting going into the earnings here in a few minutes.
It's
Yeah.
uh, it's
But
not alone. Microsoft is oddly doing the same thing. Different price, but exact same four candles at the same times. So somebody's got some block sales going on here. Seem to be selling a few things at the same time.
it's funny how we perceive support and resistance just by some orders. And then when
Yeah.
they're done, it's like we just move on. So
Yeah.
yeah,
To the next one.
yeah. Markets are always
But
filling orders at
I
different
got the
prices.
level marked on that. What is that? I think right around there is what yesterday's low is right around there as well, that it keeps going down to. Right
Hmm.
there, about 207.72. That's what it looks like.
It's trying to break out of the session high right now too.
Yeah. Apple getting squirrely.
Yeah, Apple pushing a little higher here.
Let's see.
Are you gonna be the mover? You gonna come out saying you partnered with the greatest ever AI company that's gonna charge you 3/4 less than everybody else? Everybody's gonna forget that you crashed and burned with Apple Intelligence.
I mean, they could maybe discuss like a pivoting strategy.
Yeah.
I know they're trying to hire out a lot of the AI development, so it's cost effective for them to do that as opposed to do their in-house research because they've already kind of
Yeah.
botched it.
Go.
But uh, I mean, everything else I think is just like, what's the growth vectors on Apple these days?
Go,
how are we supposed to value these companies the way that they are without huge growth ahead of them?
go,
And yeah,
go poach those uh, Meta and Microsoft AI developers.
hmm
Oh,
No, they don't need to poach them. They're going to
yes,
announce a three-way merger between Apple, Microsoft, and
Open AI.
NVIDIA there.
jeez.
It's going to be called Megalithic Corp. And you can just basically turn over everything you own to them right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm making
All
that
hail,
up for anybody listening. It's not true.
all
Don't.
hail the Mag 4 overlords.
Yeah. It'll soon be the Mag 1.
Yeah, the combo.
The overlords.
It is funny how so few companies control so much of what this market does, and
Mhm.
it's only gotten
Uh,
worse over time. It's just ballooned into, I mean,
yeah.
Microsoft was a $4 trillion company today. Not much mention of it, and Nvidia did it, but we just saw our second $4 trillion company today.
Did it really? I didn't
Yeah.
even notice that.
At about 537,
Oh,
538,
wow.
Microsoft
Look
was
at
a
that.
$4
Yeah.
trillion company. Yep.
That's right. It closed at 3.96,
Yep.
which means that, yeah, oh my goodness. That means earlier it was higher. Wow. Yeah, that's
Oh,
crazy. That's crazy.
man. To
Coins
think
coming
I could
back.
have bought it $35.
Hindsight.
I'm definitely not telling my wife that Meta's a $4
Mm.
trillion company today. She did.
Microsoft.
Not
Microsoft.
Or
Microsoft.
yeah,
Yeah.
Microsoft.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Coin is coming back up. That's kind of what I was thinking. It's back at the expected move. Oh well. I missed that one. A little pullback there. Hmm. All right, Apple. You're the last hope. We got 2.5 minutes to make some earnings
Give
money.
us something,
Yeah.
Apple.
Well, we certainly didn't see the same excitement as yesterday, but it's not reasonable to expect that. So
Mm, no.
yesterday was a
In
little.
fact, when we're done here, I wouldn't mind bringing up Microsoft's chart because it's funny to see Meta held, Microsoft went back to expected move, and
Right.
all that excitement is just overnight. Like, so, some people are taking it out, and then by the end of the day, the real money makes a choice. I mean, even if it's just option trading, some short-term stuff, it's a big signal to see a stock gap up and then sell all day. So
Uh,
but I find the
there you
expected move so
go.
funny.
Um,
Good.
there's coins results for you.
Oh, we finally got him.
Yeah, and they were. They finally posted on the site.
Okay. So two misses.
Let's go, Apple. Where is my clock? Oh, 1 minute and 2 seconds to go on Apple.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it comes out at schedule. Probably see it in the pricing.
Hoping for some volume too.
89 billion forecasted, 142 earnings per share.
Hoping we get some good volume on this one.
So
Just
last hope. Here we go.
drive. Bated breath. I love the moment before everybody's on edge.
On
Bated breath.
edge, quiet, preparing.
Yep.
Oh, there we go. 215 up.
Okay. Yeah. There's a move.
$1.57 beat on earnings per share. 94 billion beat on revenue. The iPhone revenue of 45.8 billion.
Lots of orders getting filled. Little instability on the price, but there are buyers trying to hold up. It'd be nice to see a little bit better signals here. I mean, we filled probably like $4 or $5 worth of tiered orders, but that alone is exhausting the volume. So
There you go. All right. Um, I'm going to run. We do have peak capital boot camp. I got my last team meeting that I've got to get to. So, guys, thanks for letting me be with you here for the earnings. If Mike and Jared can continue for a couple of minutes, I'll let them do that. But I'm signing out. So take care, everyone.
All right, Peter, take care. I think we can close down because I'm gonna hop out. I got stuff to do as well, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna sit here maybe for like another minute. But
yeah, let's see if Apple can get a little bit of excitement here, but
Yeah.
takes about a minute or two to really gauge
see
the
what they're gonna do.
reaction. There's some technical issues right now with like where it's getting sold from. That's not a clean breakout, but there's still buying pressure. So I'm kind of hesitant to take a position, but I'd love to see this one maybe get through 212.50 a little bit more cleanly and then hold. If not, this one unfortunately might not move that much. Definitely see buying pressure though. It's just the fact that it's so volatile on
Yeah.
bid dropping. I would love to see them. Yeah, here we go. They're perking up
Here we
here.
go. Here we go.
Perking up. There we go. That's kind of what you want to see is like getting through some areas and maybe holding the price a little better, but minute by minute, I just feel like it's a little too heavy on the top side. So might not have the volume it needs to do what it has to do. And that's a problem.
Yeah.
So
So I am going to go ahead and drop Jared if you're going to stick around. Thank you, everybody out on YouTube as well as in the chat room. I will not see you tomorrow, Jared. I will
Okay.
be at multiple appointments. So sorry.
That's okay.
But
Happy Friday anyway.
yes, I will be back Monday, everybody. So take care, enjoy, check out all the offerings from Variable Traders, and enjoy your weekend, everybody. Take care.
Later. And as the closing act, I think I'm also going to wrap it up as well. I mean, at the end of the day, these earnings reactions are a little bit less exciting, a little bit harder to trade. Coin would have been probably at least a decent 2R, 3R kind of opportunity. I was a little hesitant on the position there, but everything else I was unable to get filled correctly. Amazon was giving me a lot of trouble with the fills. Apple looks a little bit too back and forth to really call, so might be better for tomorrow. I think it's okay to let these earnings reactions kind of settle and then use both the high and low of the earnings candle to kind of gauge what we're going to do for the next day. Because one thing that we saw today was stocks like Microsoft actually came in pretty much to where the market expected them to be, but it was doing it from a high. So it felt very bearish on the session. We also had stocks like Meta, which actually held up pretty well. So even if we're missing like the jumps in price, we can certainly get some good ranges to form. And if you're looking at Microsoft, you can actually kind of play it back, which is ironic given what we saw in the first reaction. So always remember that there's other opportunities once the session opens. Just be keen to mark good levels, kind of know where people are positioned, and as always, just use the information in front of you to kind of guide price, especially because information changes and the market eventually will move. So I think with all that said, I'm gonna say happy Thursday. Thanks for joining us for this YouTube live earnings, and we will see y'all next time. Bye for now.